You ever think about quitting?
It's the combat of life hammering the snot out of you.
Well, stand by, dig in deep, and get ready to get fired up with us.
Welcome to the Team Never Quit podcast, the #1 podcast that inspires you to fight on. I'm your host, David Rutherford, here with Mr. Never Quit himself, Marcus Luttrell.
Our mission is to help you embrace the suck of life, to teach you the values of working your ass off, and to interview the most hard-charging people on planet Earth.
We know life is hard. It's time for you to suck it up, Buttercup, and let us teach you to persevere in every environment imaginable by sharing real-world lessons learned by those who never quit. That's right. It's time, Marcus, for us to help them defeat the negative insurgency in their lives.
You fire me up. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's roll.
Let's roll. Marcus, I've got something to tell you. Are you listening? Can you hear me?
I have you.
Can you hear me loud and clear?
I got you.
Can you hear me?
Not only that, I have extra things over my ears to where I can hear everything.
Everything through. You actually, all right, so I'm going to tell you something.
Even if I'm not looking at you, which normally when you're talking to me, that's the beauty about this whole madness that the Wizards got on my head over here, is that I can hear you no matter what.
No matter what. Even if
I'm doing everything I've trained myself to do not to hear you.
You're going to hear me. So are you ready?
Yes, I am.
I am fired up about today's show, man. And I'll tell you why. All right? Because you know I'm going to tell you why I'm fired up. Because the guy that's coming on this, once again, not only is he an amazing dude and the impact he's having on the world around him, but he's a regular cat, man. Yeah. And from everything you've told me, I mean, he is a regular guy doing extraordinary things. And I love how you always reference that on the Team Never Quit podcast, man. And so that gets me excited when we can have regular people doing extraordinary things because they never quit, right?
Truly. I mean, what we're trying to do here to build on that, that's why I feel so lucky and blessed too, man, because we're trying to build something, and how we needed to do that was to call some of my buddies.
And I love it.
You know what I mean? It really, truthfully, when it always sinks in. I know the impact this guy has on the world. Truthfully, I'll go, I'll hang out with him, man, and I see it, and it's unbelievable. But in the back of my head, man, we're just two country boys, because I've known him, and we're just two country boys. What he does outside of that is epic, right?
Right.
And it's hard to quantify it. I mean, You're probably the most recognizable face on the planet.
For sure.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But it's great when we're hanging out. He'll still call, make mistakes in front of each other. We call each other out on stuff, and they never lost that. And
that's what I love about it. And that's what it's going to make. The humbleness. And that's going to be, I think, when we get into it, we listen to him, I think we're going to hear a lot of that today.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about that. That's what fires me up. Now, listen, if you're the first time you're listening to this show, if this is the first time that you're at the Team Never Quit podcast, man, please allow me to introduce myself. My name's David Rutherford. I'm a Navy SEAL, motivational speaker, coach, author for kids and adults. But and I'm here with Mr. Never Quit himself, Marcus Luttrell. And our mission...
I have no redeeming qualities whatsoever.
I tell you what, I love...
What's that line from that movie? It's like, I have no responsibilities here whatsoever. Oh, a few good men.
A few good men.
Yeah, right.
I have no responsibilities here.
What do you...
you
Marcus,
take us
I have
down.
no responsibilities here whatsoever. Right? That's the line, wasn't it?
You want me on that wall.
Right. That was Kevin, right?
Yeah.
Love that guy.
He's awesome.
Love that guy.
He's awesome. All right, so our mission is to help you discover the never quit attitude. It's to help you discover the things that Marcus and I and all the people we bring on this show, we live up to every single day.
We're teaching you the valuable lesson about how important it is to open yourself up to friends in our lives, right? Because they're the ones that open it. I mean, that's why I truly believe that.
Brothers.
Right, we've always been doing it. And that's the beauty about it, man, is everybody out there has one person that... Granted, there are you guys that are special out there that have no friends and love it like that. You're unique, man. I got nothing to say to you. I can't help you out. I don't know. Right?
Well, I want them to have friends.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So even if you have one person, the mailman, whatever it is, that lets you know
Bob,
that.
the mailman.
Right. And it's your friends in your life that unlock all those potentials,
great potentials
that you have and cover down on your weaknesses.
I love that. And the person we're bringing on not only has that, but they have their family with them as well too. Now, what we do every show is, before we get into that, we always talk about someone great in history, or a moment or an event that's great in history, a great never quit story, a story of that can inspire our listeners to be better themselves if they just dig into it a little more. Once we've done that, we're going to bring on our special guest here in a little bit. I'll introduce him officially, and then we go through these amazing never quit stories that they give us. And that's the meat and potatoes. And after that, we'll wrap it up. And then guess what? Later on, if you want, you can go to the teamneverquit.com/podcast webpage, and you can find what we call the After Actions Report. Now, that After Actions Report is where our interviewee, our guest, comes on, and they're going to get into the nitty-gritty of how they approach their daily life, how they never quit every day, each and every day, and whatever they're engaged in. And you can find that again at either teamneverquit.com/podcast or tnqpodcast.com. All right. Saying all that to say this, let's start, man. All right. So we got a special cat.
Yep.
And I know you reached out to our guest to understand who this special cat was going to be. And after looking at it, man, it lit me up inside to want to talk about a few of these guys, right? Because in my world, they're a huge, huge influence. In fact, I just finished reading Galatians just the other night, all right? And so the first dude we're going to talk about here the two people we're going to talk about are Paul the Apostle and Peter the Apostle.
Right.
Now, what's cool about Paul is that here's a cat that was going down the wrong path, right? I mean, he was hazing the snot out of these new followers of Jesus Christ. I mean, he was persecuting them, throwing them in jail. He wanted to get rid of them because they were a threat, right? They were a threat to the greater existence, or to the current power structure. And so this guy went after him. But thankfully, what happened, man? He got influenced by Jesus himself. And he had the opportunity to change. And for me, that's the big part of this, Marcus, is that we all have the opportunity to change if we just allow a little bit of goodness in our hearts, right?
Sure. That's basically what we say on the show every day. And we go through this whole long spiel about never quit and how we do this and how we get around it and how everybody's ordinary, getting in extraordinary situations. And that's what it all boils down to right there. However, when I reached out to him, I was like, hey, and he sent us Peter.
Right.
And then the wizard was like, I think Paul.
Yeah.
And then we started having that conversation. It was like, well, all right, we'll do both of them. Well, I know him. So I know why he said Peter.
Right.
All right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The fisherman, the duck hunter, the make mistakes, the follow your dreams. But ultimately, the fact that people believed in him enough, such as his family did, to walk. Duck Dynasty just didn't, they weren't born into that, right? That whole thing started back with his father, taught all the way down the line, and Willie had the ambition to take it out of, look, you take it out, something like that out of the world of what we are, country folk living in, and then he said, you know what, our family's special enough.
Got a higher calling.
Will you follow me?
And they did.
That's what Peter said, right?
He said,
Jesus,
he jumped in that boat and he said, I will make you fisher of men, didn't he?
Under God, right?
Yeah.
That's what Willie did.
And
under
that's
God.
what he's doing.
To his family, he's like, hey, follow me. I got this, man. Just believe in me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I do. I totally do.
When he said that and we were putting it together, I'm like, because I was with the wizard, like, yep, no, he's probably, typo. But I was like, wait a minute, man, there's something to that. He was spin that out of there like that. The thing I
love about Peter, like you said, he was an ordinary man. He's a fisherman, right? And he went on to do ordinary. He started the church, right? He was the official first pope. But what I love too is that he had big failures, man. He had adversity. I mean, he denied Christ 3 times that one night, right? There was times where he doubted Christ when Christ was walking on water and he jumped out and started walking, but then he freaked out and had that fear of man come into his heart and he fell in and Jesus snatched him out there. But he kept coming back. He didn't quit, right? He didn't quit. And what ultimately did Peter do, man? He walked to his death.
Right.
He walked to his death spreading that good news.
And the thing, I never seen this, or maybe I have 100 times. Luke 5:9-1, where he's like, hey, and the thing that fires me up about this the most when I think about my friends in this situation is he goes, hey, at a moment's notice, no hesitation. If he asked, they'd walk away and follow him.
Everything.
Yeah.
Give it all up.
You call, we haul. That's what our boys say, man. I have friends like that. I know that power. I have one of my buddies. I've literally called him 3 different times. Twice when I was in Pensacola, Florida.
Right.
He quit his job to come get me when I was in teams. You know, he traveled and all that stuff. You don't get on a plane and whatnot. And every time, no questions asked.
Didn't stop, did nothing.
And he and I are still, we run together. We have since we were boys. And I understand, even though I didn't live back then, right?
Yeah.
But that common camaraderie between us is the same. Men search out for that, right? We're pack animals.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, exactly. I still roll with the same boys that I have, man. We're together as a family, you know.
Spreading the word.
Undeniable, right.
Yep.
About who we all hang around each other, and you know why. I've gotten it a million times, man. Every weakness I have, they have the strength. So that's what binds us together. That's what keeps that whole concept going. That's exactly what, when he read that, I'm like, man, he called anytime he said, let's go, he rolled.
And that's what the cool thing is. And to shift over to
It
Paul,
still exists, is my point, man.
Yeah.
Back then is when it all started. We're putting all this together, and all guys like us still roll like that.
Well, it's and what I like about, and especially I know when he gets on here, he's going to talk about, you know, this higher purpose, this higher calling, and realizing the impact that he has, you know, and that's significant. And, you know, I think Paul, the apostle, felt the same thing, right? I mean, this persecution, he's blinded, he's given his sight out by Christ, and then he's like, hey, time to go spread the news. Now, this cat, you want to talk about never quit, dude. This guy was almost beaten to death multiple times, in prison multiple times. He was in 3 shipwrecks, but he kept going. And the crazy thing, he went into the lion's den. He went into the heart of the greatest opposition to Rome itself to preach that good news, man. Even when everybody was trying to tear him down, Mother Nature trying to tear him down.
Good news. It was just news, right?
Yeah,
coming in here. You know how it was going down.
I mean, you read some of those letters he wrote, man, and they're people, but basically that he'd show up, he'd drop that word on them, he'd walk away, and they'd be like, all right, we can twist this the way we want to make it work for us. We can do this. Well, you know what? We can pick and choose which way to live. But our guests coming on, they don't pick and choose what's right or, you know, what fits them. And certainly this man.
Oh, man, the baseline.
The baseline.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing about the guy coming on. And you know, let's just jump into it. Let's just introduce him because I'm really getting excited about it. Because he is friends with you. And I'm getting excited at the fact about the impact that these people have, that this family has around the world. And it's very difficult. And I think a lot of people, why they've been so successful is because they're ordinary human beings. Right? That have done extraordinary things. They've risen to spread the good news.
Right. They believe, you know, God loves each of us as there's only one of us, right? And is that right?
Yeah, you're on. You're tracking.
So you go far. I mean, we're all connected. We're all.
And you say it all the time on this show, right? About the never quit attitude. That we're all connected. The human condition connects us all. But we are unique in our approach on how we experience that never quit.
And wanting to be unique. You can't leave that out, right?
No.
That's cute. I mean, we understand.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No. We want you to be as unique as you absolutely want to, man. We're giving you every opportunity to capitalize on everything that's unique about you.
Yep.
And a lot of times, you know, things get separated by being unique.
Oh, I think so all the time. People almost feel like they shouldn't. They got to become with the flock, right? They've got to fall into line.
I mean, there's the pack animals who run inside the pack, then the perimeter and all. I mean, if you look at every other thing on this planet that survives, humans follow a lot of the same thing because it's bred into an instinct. It's DNA. It's how you survive on this planet, right? We all have to do that, no matter what you are.
Address your fears, right? You gotta process. You gotta be disciplined. You gotta set goals.
Right. There's something. I mean, the beautiful thing about the Bible, and I like to say, man, it's the greatest story ever told because you can find whatever you want in there. There's a story about it: love, hate, demons, war, all that stuff like that. So it's a great baseline. I mean, even if you don't believe in God or Jesus, believe that he was a mortal man and did great things because they wrote a book about him.
Yep.
Why not want to be like him?
Amen.
That's all I got. We talked about this, man. I can't walk on water, man. Damn it, I can take pain and try to be a decent human being.
I love it.
Right?
I love it.
That's what this guy does, man.
For me, it's these apostles, right? They're just like you and me. They aren't the Son of God, but they went the distance carrying that good news. They went to the distance. They walked to their deaths to do good. I think your friend coming on, he's doing that.
Right. And just, I don't know why this popped in my head, but we have most things that have a structure follow underneath the Bible structure anyways, man. Jesus was our leader and they followed him right in SEAL teams. We got a skipper.
Yep.
They're platooned up.
Yeah.
We're going. What'd he say? Let's do it. I believe in him. Because he believes in me. Right. There's some little niche pulled from all of that, right? It's because
I love it.
It's set up that way because it works.
It works. That's what we need. We need guidance. We need people to look up to. We need to have people that influence us.
Hell, even for reference. You know what I'm talking about?
No, absolutely.
For a matter of perspective, because it is the human condition in there. That's the beauty about it. And it's made to be interpreted. But if you look at it that way and be like, all right, man, I'm kind of dealing with this. I want to see what these old dudes back 2,000 years ago, how they dealt with it. Because it's still around, right?
And it's still relevant.
The problem's still around, and this has been there since then to tell you how to kind of get through it.
I love it.
Right?
Love it.
I had to break it down real simple.
And you did.
Just to get
and you did.
Just to explain it. I team guy the hell.
You just team guy the hell out of that. All right, well, let's bring the Duck Commander on himself. Let's bring Willie on. All right, Marcus, you know it. We're back again, man, and I'll tell you what, it's been a week since our last one, and I'm now I tell you, when you suggested that this man comes on the air, I gotta tell you something. I got goosebumps inside, and not because I love what he does and what his family does for the country, but because of the type of man he is and the friendship that you guys have, man, because that's what we're about, right? That's what this whole thing, when we get on the air and we inspire people to be better by telling great stories, having great guests on, man, when we bring someone on that we know and trust and love with our hearts, man, it's so much more impactful, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And the guests that we've had on, they have their stories and they have the people who drive them. Well, our guest today is one of the people that are in the circle of my friends that drive me, that I lean on, that I talk to, that I have, that the family spends time with. We vacation together. So, I love this guy like a brother. So, yeah, I'm excited to get him on here and hear some perspective on how far he's taken everything he's trying to do.
Man, that's awesome. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I'd like to introduce the Duck Commander himself, Mr. Willie Robertson. Willie, welcome to the
team. What's going on? What's going on, guys?
Well, I tell you what, other than getting literally drowned in Houston right now from the weather, right, we're about as fired up as two former team guys can be.
Well, that's awesome. We got a lot of rain up here, too. We had our flooding issue, so I feel for you guys. Heck, we're still cleaning up here. It's been a super wet year, but I'm sitting here in West Monroe, Louisiana right now. I'm dry, and I'm in between scenes for a little show called Duck Dynasty.
Well, brother, I got some news for you. It's coming again. We're sitting in it. I'll be sure to send it right on down your way, brother. And there's a lot of rain coming.
Yeah.
All right, so the way we launched the Team Never Quit podcast and the whole concept behind our show, as you know, is to influence people that they've got a never quit moment in themselves and to be able to exercise that, to be able to get up off the couch, to get in life, to get inspired, to find the right team, and to be able to face adversity and overcome obstacles. But in order to get into that moment, we like to exercise before anything. Now, we're not going to make you drop down and do 100 push-ups like other nut jobs do out there. What we want to do is exercise your brain. And so what we do is we start with a Mad Minute. And the Mad Minute is designed to just wake up our neurological firing mechanisms up there in the gray matter and get things going and have some fun, because this is a fun show, isn't it, Marcus?
Absolutely not. Serious. Yeah, man, trust me, brother. When we get done with the Mad Minute, about 2 questions into it, you're going to realize what we're trying to do here, man. And it's hilarious.
All right. So are you ready to get started, Willie?
Let's go.
All right, Wizard, start that clock. Here we go. All right, first question is, what city were you born in?
Bernice, Louisiana. There's a sign outside of it saying I was born there.
That's how you know you made it, right?
That's how you know you're true.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Hell no, that's awesome, man. And I love that is how you know, God dang, your town recognizes you.
The home of Willie Robertson.
Willie Robertson. Why would you ever leave, right? Why would you ever leave? Yeah, there you go, right there, man. All right. Hey, if you were going into space, what one thing would you bring?
Some sort of oxygen, I presume.
Damn it, that's not what I'm talking about. All right, smart, right?
I've never been
Philosophical.
I hear you need oxygen.
That caught me by
Amend
surprise.
that question next time, right?
Yeah,
Say you already have oxygen. What extra?
What extra item besides oxygen? Thank you for that, Will. We need.
I guess I'd probably bring my bottle.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Way to bring some levity to that conversation.
All right. So the next question is, if you could live in any decade in human history, what decade would you live in?
Any decade? Oh, man, I'd have to... Oh, that's hard. I would say... for some reason, I mean... I think I lived in it. I think it was in the 80s. I think it was great.
Yeah! Right? I love it. I
feel
love
about the
80s.
90s, right? I'm a 90s guy. I'm a Gen X man.
I'm right there with you,
yeah.
Willie. I'm born in
90s.
72. 80s was a transformational time for me.
Man, I was
born in 72 as well.
Yeah.
So.
I hit high school in 1990, so high school through college were the 90s for me. And I mean, talking about rocking, buddy.
That was big time. That was big time.
I had a blast. A blast.
So Willie, he had Nirvana. You and I had. Well, you can dance if you want to. You
right.
can
They
leave
have, like,
your friends
Wham,
behind.
Wham, right?
That's tight. That's tight, bro.
We had, we had all of it. We had super great bands in the 80s. My friends tell me that I've got the most exhaustive collection of 80s music ever. I love all of it.
Well, dude, I didn't know. Okay, that is an absolute difference between. I am a complete 90s guy, man. Like,
it's
not even,
okay, youngster.
Right.
These kids these days.
It's actually my fault. My generation's fault. The 90s fault, right? All right. Next question. If you could play a character in any movie to play out in real life, who would it be?
I could play a character. Now I have to. Oh, but it's real.
Yeah.
Oh, it's real. Oh, shoot. Well, shoot, man.
Play out any
what
movie.
A question. All
I know,
my favorite
right?
movies. I mean, bad stuff happens. So.
That's all right. Hey, that's the point of
I
the
guess
question.
I would say I'm a Josie Wells guy, so I think that's kind of cool.
Boom, right there.
Yes!
Yeah, I was Lonesome Dove. What's up?
You move that pistol so I can count the hairs on that hand there.
So slow, so I can cut the hair.
All right. I knew I'd love you, Willie. That's awesome. All right, so here's the next one. All right, who would you rather get into a fight with, Han Solo or Indiana Jones?
I would say the latest Star Wars Han Solo, because he's quite a bit older. I think I can take him.
Wait. Is the question who would you want to be in a fight with, or
without the Wookiee? I don't want Chewbacca running around either. That's cheating.
That is cheating because he's like
damn Wookiee. Who the hell can fight?
He's gonna like sucker punch you, dude. Team guy style, right there.
That Wookiee's like 9 foot tall.
Right. It's like fighting the dude who has a buddy's nicknamed Little Mike or something.
You know, Wookiee. I don't think Hans is as good a fighter.
Right? You don't need to be. He's got that blaster on his hip and a Wookiee behind him with a crossbow that fires laser beams. I mean, come on. I'll go down this hole. I love talking about stuff like this. Willie and we can go at this one all day, man.
Oh my God.
All right. Here's my question. If you could sing any song as good as the artist who sings it at halftime show, Super Bowl, what song would it be?
What song would I sing at a halftime show? I would sing Bohemian Rhapsody.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Good
That's
pull.
awesome, man.
Just bring the joint down.
Right?
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Is that an 80s
Little
movie
Queen
and a
record,
90s movie? An 80s song and a 90s movie, right?
It is an 80s song in a 90s movie.
Right?
Or was the Bohemian Rhapsody, was that in the 70s, late 70s? Queen sang that?
Well, usually that's how it works, right? Your music follows you.
Maybe late 70s on that one.
Hey, Willie, we'll just suck it into the 80s and say it's so.
Because I love 70s music. I love listening to 70s music.
What? Wait a minute.
I know,
That's
I
a
do.
contradiction now.
I know, man. I love everything about the 90s in the music, but I really like 70s music too.
Is it like Rick James and stuff? Is that who you like? Is it Super Freak?
Whatever Alexa plays downstairs. I ask her, she's on the. I get Alexa. Well, do you have one of those Alexas that you plug in and she controls
Everything?
You want to talk? Yeah, right. This is dangerous, man. There's something plugged into my wall that controls everything.
All right. So the last question for you, Willie, in the mad 25 minutes is what's your greatest achievement in your life?
Greatest achievement in my life would be the adoption of my children that are adopted.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Yeah.
You know who's going to say that?
Yeah.
I mean, every solid human being that's a parent has said, my kids.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and my kids are great, but, I just did what came natural, and those came for us. But the adopted ones, we had to, it was proactive to get that situated.
He's so squared. Hey, look, man, these such good people that my wife goes with. They travel overseas to do the
right.
Missionary work.
Right.
We
You can tell I don't go, right? Because I don't know what it's called. Am I an ass?
You're close. I mean, that one's pretty bad.
Yeah. Hey, I make no.
Where's Melanie? Where's the boss?
Yeah, she goes, and now she was talking about adopting children the other day, and I said, all right, I mean, babe, we got, all right, what do you want to do, man? I just say yes, I answer to the
yes, boss.
That's it, man.
Yes, boss.
That's good words to live by, Mark.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? All right. Well, thank you. That was awesome. I hope you're having fun so far. I know I am. I just about busted my spleen on one of those in there. So let's jump right in. The people are listening to our show because they want to hear something powerful. And so, Willie, if you could, man, let's just dive right in. And if you could, would you share with us either your greatest never quit story or stories that you have in your life?
Well, I guess my greatest never quit is two stories. One involves me, one doesn't. One is the story of my father, who was really down and out, and actually three. It's one for my mom as well. So my dad's down and out. He's he was a high school quarterback star. He goes on, gets a scholarship at Louisiana Tech. And another guy comes up behind him by the name of Terry Bradshaw. So, but Dad was a starter, so that lets you know kind of how good he was at football. And he ends up quitting the team his senior year because football season and duck season are the same time. And Dad had all he could take of football season, and he said, "I'm going to go chase these ducks." Hands the ball off to Bradshaw, and we saw what happened with him. So, and they both ended up super successful. Dad just took a lot longer to end up successful as Bradshaw, I believe. But he ends up teaching school, and he's in Junction City, Arkansas. And then his life just starts getting totally out of control. He's drinking all the time. He's fighting. He gets fired from his job. He had a great idea. He was going to lease a bar. That's how he was going to make his money. And he said that back in those days, it was separated. So you had the blacks in the white, blacks in the back, and the whites in the front. And Phil says he sat in the middle with his 45 Magnum and a big Budweiser, and he kept the peace and sold alcohol to people. And then he gets in a fight with the owners of the bar and puts them both in ICU. Sadly, it was a man and his wife. Put them both in ICU. So then here come the state troopers looking for Phil. Phil does what all of us would do. He goes and runs because he's going to live in the woods for the rest of his life. So he's they're in the helicopters are going over the woods and they're looking for some suspect out there. That was my dad. And he was out there for 4 or 5 months running from the law. Yeah, and the guy that found him, I actually talked to the guy just randomly that found him, and he was in a cypress log, sleeping in a cypress log. And he had super high fever. He had Lyme disease, and so they got him fixed up. Well, in the meantime, my mom has no idea what she's going to do. She's been kicked out of our trailer. She has 3 little boys. I was the youngest at the time. I was 2. And so she takes off and moves to West Monroe with some family and really never knows if she's going to see Dad again or not. And he's gone. I mean, she figured he's going to end up, at best arrested, at worst dead. And so she takes off and has no idea what she's going to do. Phil ends up talking to a preacher down here, and he shows up where Mom's working. And when they saw him outside, they looked out the door, and everybody kind of panicked. You know, it was like what would now be workplace. I mean, they thought, oh no, he's here to do something terrible. And she goes down there, and he falls to his knees and says, I'm going to give my life to the Lord, and I want my family back. And so Mom takes him back. So
Wow.
And then Phil decides he's going to live on the river, and he's going to make duck calls. And he moved on the river specifically to get away from all his friends, all the people he was around. He basically just said, I'm done with this life. And we moved out on a dead-end road right where he is today, and he started making us duck call. And what's funny was everybody kind of laughed and thought he was just kind of antisocial at that point. They said, man, this guy's got a master's degree from Louisiana Tech, and he's kind of just down here now fishing, commercial fishing, and then trying to sell this duck call. But I'll say this about Phil, and this half of it is the never quit for him was he stuck with what he wanted to do. He didn't quit even though, he'd done a bunch of bad things and ended up moving off. And he was pardoned for his transgressions. He got some award in Arkansas a few years ago, and they actually it was from the State Trooper Association of Arkansas, and they give Phil this award. And they said, by the way, we cleared everything in your record. So,
the irony.
Phil ended up, he never did quit on his dream, and had he not done all the heavy lifting, I would have never been able to take it over, and really there had never been a TV show. Our family wouldn't have been together, and that's for my mom. For her never quit was that she didn't give up on him, and because she could have, and she perhaps should have.
Right,
she didn't, and she stuck with him and saw something in there. They kept his family together. Had another son, my little brother, and then we grew up down there. And had a great childhood. Great. I don't really remember any of that, but I'm glad neither one of them ever quit and gave up on it, and so it made it so much easier for us. And for me, I mean, I don't have as great, as tragic a story or as great a story as that. They kind of did that, but for me, it was just seeing something beyond what we could see, and I never quit thinking that this could be way bigger. Now, I had no idea that it would end up a television show.
How can
that
you?
Would be my wife's. That would be my wife's thing. She thought we could be on TV, and I said, well, Corey, I don't think we do anything that bizarre. She said, oh, no. She said, oh, no, you aren't right. You are definitely not
Trust
right.
me, honey, we're bizarre.
When you're in it, you don't really see things as interesting as I guess other people do. And,
it's just normal.
Like, look at y'all have
hey,
to,
brother,
y'all run this business, and so it ended up being the TV show came out of that.
We've been talking about the 70s and 80s and 90s and stuff like that, man. Like I loved Addams Family. You don't even.
Totally.
We can get into the whole idea how I tracked Melody down as a Elvira and then Morticia Addams.
Whoa, slow down. Yeah. That's a rabbit. Let's pull you out of that rabbit hole, bud.
But I mean, people loved those families, and they were odd, right? And they had the crazy uncles and everything, the snakes and the alligators,
awesome.
Right? I mean, they're the real deal. And people,
authentic.
Right, exactly. And I mean, traveling around, I know Willie hears this too, when we're together, man. I mean, you have executives, hedge fund, just like I watch the show, man. High-end, educated, and then you got people down on our end like, "Hey, Willie, man, I love your show. It's on VHS, man. I'll watch it." They just you can't go anywhere where these guys aren't impacting lives, and it's fantastic.
It's awesome. So Willie, when I listen to that story about your dad and your mom, obviously, as you said it. One of the questions that pops up into my mind, how soon as you and your brothers were growing up, how soon did they start sharing that story for it to be an influence in your life and how you raise your family and how you look, interact with your brothers? Did it happen or did you have to wait till you're older?
No, as long as I can remember, we knew the stories. Now, most of the story, what's odd about that is he rarely talks about all that. So he just says kind of, I was a sinful man, and most everything that I've heard was really from other people. It was people that knew him, mom, or, people would tell stories about dad, because he was kind of a legendary around the area. Everybody kind of knew of it. He was the star quarterback in the area, so people knew his name and around here. And then he, he was a great hunter. Everybody in the outdoor space, knew who he was, and, knew about his hunting and stuff. And so, but that, I think it's part of why the show is great, is because our family's always kind of been super open and just open book. Like, here's our life, here's our past, here's who we are. And, if you like it, great. If you don't, that's okay. And but they were really honest about it, and he became very spiritual. He was 28 at the time, and then he really just started reading the Bible all the time, and got into trying to help people. And so for as long as I can remember, we invited people over, and he would use his past and the things that they had overcome to try to help others. And there was always couples down there who were on the verge of divorce or wayward kids, and there was always someone around that they were trying to help. So as long as I can remember, I knew the story, but really saw a totally different man. It was hard to believe it was even him, because now he was such a different person apparently than he was then in his 20s.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. I mean, one of the cool things that I love, and my father's been a massive influence on my life, and I went down the wrong path for a lot of years when I was in college as well too, and even after getting out of the teams and that separation is those things that ground you and keep you coming back. And if obviously from what you guys portray on the show and what your dad portrays, faith is a massive part of all your lives. And now the question I got for you, as your fame has grown, your reach has grown, one of the things that really just is remarkable to me is that you're using that faith to touch people in the way that you are. And you've had a lot of pushback in a lot of ways. But what I love is that you're so focused together that it's amazing. And where do you guys, is that a focal point of every day of your life, no matter if it's in the spotlight or together? I'm sure it is. But how do you guys keep it strong?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. One is that we are family. We do get to work together. We're around each other a lot, so we're able to encourage each other. And unlike other famous people that I know, a lot of them, whatever makes them famous pulls them away from their family, whether they're an athlete, if they're a musician. They're having to travel. If they're an actor, they have to travel and they're on set and they're gone. And that can be tough on a family when you're gone. For us, the beauty of this is every day when I'm at work, like for television, I'm with my family.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And you kind of keep each other from getting a big head. You can't come in and start complaining, And, again, with a lot of famous people I know, all of a sudden they become like really the, kind of the person in charge. They typically hire everybody around them to work for them, right? And so everything goes through one person. With us, it's all spread out. So it's, when I come in going, oh, this is terrible, I had to do this or that, and Jace will be there like, slap you upside the head because I had to do that. I just did the same thing. And then, so, everybody kind of keeps each other like that. But it is a focal point. I think when you become, in the spotlight and people know who you are, you're just going to be a bigger extension of what you were before. So awesome. If you were a jerk before, now you're going to be an even bigger jerk because you have money and you have to everybody knows who you are. But if you have, something good in you, then hopefully it expands and you can do way more things that are good. So I think, I just think people are what they are, and when they have a bigger spotlight and a bigger platform, for us, we're able to use that, to the best we can is to be positive towards people. And we never forgot where we came from. If you believe that God blessed you, and if you believe that, he gives you certain talents and puts things in front of you, if you believe that, if you don't, that's fine. But if you do believe that, then once you get there, then you should give even more glory back to that of how you got there.
Amen.
If you abandon it, start thinking you're the one. And so I never try to get too caught up in the good or the bad, what people say about you. And so you can go on the internet, and which I don't, and I don't even read it. You can see where people are dogging. There's just people that can't stand you for whatever reason.
I tell you,
and then there's people who love you and they're saying you're the best thing ever. I try not to listen to either.
Either side.
Yeah, of course.
I'm probably not, the worst thing ever. I read a tweet one time that said, Willie, your very existence makes me sad. And I didn't know how to respond. I was like, do I apologize for existing?
Yeah.
How do you even respond to that?
Awesome.
So,
that's awesome that I've touched you like that.
Just stay humble, focused here at home. And for us, too, look, we never move. So we're in the same neighborhood. Our kids go to the same school. We go to the same church. nothing changed. Like everything is just the same, as it was when we started this thing. And so we just help each other say, hey, man,
look,
it's here today, gone tomorrow. It's been 4.5 years now, so it seems like a lifetime now.
Eternity.
But, if it's all gone, it'll be fine. And believe me, it'll be nice to rest up and, be a normal person.
What he said is the absolute truth. So you know how I am, man.
Oh,
I've known him a while, and that family is exactly like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean they cut them no slack. When we're around, it's awesome to see. And the reason that they're successful with their family is because they love each other. And
Amen.
then the women run the show.
Yeah.
I don't know the Kardashian. I don't know the Kardashians.
Thank goodness.
Kanye brother, man. Women run the family around here, man. They love each other, that kind of deal, and you see it when they're around, and it's. Look, man. There's times we're together, and I tell Willie about this all the time, man. I'm like, people will literally come up and ask him to do something, and he's like, sure, absolutely. I'm like, bro, man, we don't need to, who am I? This is Willie Robertson. I'm like, that just seems dangerous, that kind of deal. He never meets a stranger, and we'll be walking around, man. It is truly impressive to watch him. It doesn't matter where we're at, what we're doing, what he's doing, man. If he's out there, then he's out there. That's what it means. It's not a turn-off deal. I mean, it's not. I can't. Right now, I don't want to be a celebrity. That's not how it works, because their show is off of reality of how great their life really is. That's why there's no people across the board, or not across the board, but some people don't like them, and most people do. Well, in real life, most people like it, and some people won't.
Right.
Now they just have access to millions and millions of people, man. And every time I've ever been with them, and I'm not talking about on TV. I'm talking about real life. Out doing something,
fishing.
Regular stuff.
Yeah.
It's exactly that way. And when Corey snaps her fingers, he pops tall. I mean, I act like a badass when my wife's not around. When she's around, dude, you've seen it,
it's
man.
Epic,
dude. Right?
I'm
like, okay. All right. But
the problem is, Marcus, I can't hide. So, I mean, when you look like I do, I haven't found the quite costume yet to.
Bro, hey, we talked about that.
It's easy to spot one of the Robertsons. Either ZZ Top or one of the Robertsons.
So, hey, I was talking to Rudd. I was like, all right, Willie said something the other day that stuck in my head. I forget where someone was complimenting or saying something about the beard. And you were like, yeah, we're changing the way real men look, and real men are going to be wearing these long beards. So I came home. I was like, Mel, I got to grow my beard out because the Robertsons are changing the way, like men who wear the tight jeans and have their nails done and everything. That's one way. But if you want to know what our kind of men are, then we have to wear long beards.
That's it.
We're changing that. We're like bikers, right? Yeah. when Willie and I, I'm like,
bikers for God.
Right? I'm like, dude, throw a chain wallet on and change your bandana to a different one. Throw on some kind of leather motorcycle jacket, and no one will mess with you. But we tried that, dude, and he looks like Willie Robertson dressed like a biker. He looks just like Willie Robertson dressed like anything we do. And it's so hilarious, man. Oh. And when people are like, "Hey, take a picture of me and Robertson," I'm like, "Absolutely, you got it, brother. I'm the best wingman he's got, man."
It's epic.
Yeah, it's awesome.
They're like, "All right, is he a security?" Right? Wait a minute, Marcus Luttrell is Willie Robertson's security. That's awesome. All right. So here's a question for you. All right, based on all this, I'm sure. With as many people that look to you, because it's obviously it's a blessing, right? I mean, you guys, because of who you are, you're able to reach a lot of people. But the weight with that burden becomes heavy. Are there days when you and your family member wake up where you guys are like, you know what, this isn't worth it anymore. It's too much. Let's just get back to our lives. Let's just do what we do. Let's make duck calls. Let's not take that weight to influence a lot of people. Do you guys think about quitting ever?
Well, yeah, of course there's days when you have, when you're like, this is old, and, you don't particularly want a television camera on you. I mean, you think about it, in 4.5 years, I mean, kids are not doing good in school, or you feel like crap, or whatever it is, you don't feel real funny, something how you just don't feel like going out and being funny, and but you just gotta. You don't quit, and I don't want to teach my kids, when it's not going great, you just give up on something. We've got a great opportunity here it's a great job. I mean, it's a great job to have people go to college and spend money and trying to have great jobs. And I remind people that I'm like, this is not a bad job, to have. And so, but I'm encouraged by people that come up and tell me, how much the show means to them. And, when you're in this position, sadly, I get a lot, like we do a quarterly, like kids come in for Make-A-Wish. And so I find a lot of kids that are sick and dying and people that are sick and dying. And, and just to hear the encouragement about, my mama passed away last year. And, the last month of her life, we just watched your show. And that was the time when all of us could laugh and just have fun. So when you hear those stories, it kind of makes those long days or whenever you're sick of it or tired of it or whatever's in the media, you kind of go, it's cool. It's a job, but also you encourage people and also encourage their faith. We never realized that just a simple prayer at the end of a show was
everything.
I thought it wasn't a big deal. I didn't think about this is going to be a big impact, but it is. It's shown all over the world, and it shows families that come together. Even if families that aren't together like ours are, they can aspire to be that way. And so I've heard people say, now we eat dinner together. Now, we say a prayer before a meal. And so, knowing that you're helping inspire people with your job is kind of cool.
It's really cool.
When he was saying the question, when he asked it to you and you were trying to answer it, my mind went to this. Look, here's the deal. And like I said, I know him personally, but I love this guy, man. He's like a brother to me. So their family is like that. When you say move on or quit this, all that means is to remove a TV camera from in front of their everyday life.
Right.
And the never quit part and the best way I can explain the impact you have, Willie, is so your everyday normal never quitting moments are broadcast to the world. Okay, so changing a tire or getting stuck in a line at Walmart, man, that everybody has to go through, and you are the most recognizable face on the planet, probably one of the most successful entrepreneurs that I know, and all of that is capable because somebody is videoing your normal life. And I get the show part. I've been there, man. I realize how that reality show thing has shifted, but still, even the stuff when I was with you, man, we had to do it a certain way because the people that we were trying to impact were veterans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had to be a certain way. But overall, what you've done, man, and what Corey and the women had of that just the thought process to look at the weirdness, man, because that's my favorite thing about family.
It's normal.
Yeah, the
weirdness
holidays
is normal.
Yeah, holidays are my favorite because I love it when crazy uncle, who pisses his pants and hates everybody's there. That is when I am in my prime, dude. I just love that family concept.
Because you're that uncle.
Right, man. I've spent my whole life training to be the weird uncle, man, who wears amber glasses and a muleskin coat with, 6 shooters. But everything extra they do is extra to help people.
Totally.
I mean, video in their lives is just how they made the living, and then everything else, the way they impact people, the adoptions. I mean, good Lord, no one knows how deep what Duck Dynasty, man. It's a lot deeper than a picture of a duck on a wall and a duck call.
Hands down.
You know what I mean? And even if you've known them as long as I have, I still don't have any idea of how far or deep that reach has gone. And that's that when you impacted somebody like that. And trust me, brother, man, I've been around. I travel and meet as many people as I can. So saying this with 100% of certainty of everything that I've been through, man, it's amazing the impact. Where was I at, man, when I called you up and I was like, bro, I know you made it now. I am looking at a damn bobblehead doll of you and a claw vending machine. No, it was a newspaper. Right. Out in the middle of nowhere.
I remember the picture you sent. It was something strange. I don't even know that I knew that my face was on there.
I didn't either. And I was in the middle, it was an old rusted up newspaper stand. I didn't even know they had newspapers anymore. And here he is
in the bobblehead
with Corey. No, this is a newspaper picture or something. So I'm like, bro, you got to understand, man, even the people in BFE know about you. And I mean, it was great, dude. And I have the biggest time when I'm with them and their
cool.
family. But yeah, it's just the best part about it when you think about retiring or moving on or not quitting this, man. It's just like, hey, we just want some family time now. That's all you have to say to America to understand that, like, hey, they didn't really quit. There's no way there's not a last season or a last episode because you're family. I mean, good
that's
Lord.
awesome.
If you wanted to literally have a royal family to pass down and watch every move from the minute they're born to the minute they've been raised. It's the Robertson clan, and then
America's royal family.
Then our West Coast royalty are the Kardashians. You know what I mean? There's two. Do you know them?
No.
Oh, I love them, dude. That's the craziest family. What, man? I just like, I don't know, man. I'm a human dude. I like it. I like all the weird. You know me. I'm a weirdo, man.
You are a total weird. That's why I love you so much.
I'm the biggest conservative redneck ever. I just love that weirdness part of it, man. That's
you love authenticity, man. The weirdness.
That whole Elvira thing. That was my first impactful woman. Was Elvira. It's all crazy from there, man.
All right, so Willie. That was a lot to digest right there, brother. What? I love that. That was
he knows all about that.
Oh, I know. I think that's why he's laughing back there. All right, so Willie, the one cool thing that I love to see as well too, and Mel and I were talking about this the other night. I think it was last night, and you had this tremendous impact from your father, and it gave you that drive, that desire to never quit. As you start to see your kids move into their young adult lives and you start to see your daughter have the reach and start changing lives like she's doing, obviously you're proud of it, but, how do you keep them going and instill in them, hey, take this weight on your shoulders now, kids, because we're going to pass the torch to you to carry on what we learned from our father. Is that hard for you to do?
Well, I guess the only difficult thing is, I've said this about my kids. I said, everything they've done and most of what they will do, I've already experienced. So whether it's graduating high school, you're dating someone, going to college, I've done all those things. The only thing that they've done I've never done is be more famous at a young age. I wasn't like that. So I realize there's different kinds of challenges, to an 18-year-old kid or a 15-year-old kid at school, when everybody knows who you are and they know your family and all that. So, I don't worry about it or stress over it. I just try to, live the best example I can in front of them, surround them with a lot of our friends who are good people, like Marcus and Melanie, and there's tons of friends that I have, and they learn from all different sources, grandparents and other kids, and again, just try to keep them focused and locked in, and try not to, be selfish and the other things that we teach our kids. And, they've got themselves rooted in faith, and I'm proud as I can be, when I see Sadie doing positive things and John Luke doing positive things.
They're all great. All them kids are great, man.
Yeah, so I just, if you worry, I don't really know how that helps. So I just say, here it is, and I'm so thankful that, because Corey and I were young, we got married at 19 and 18, so the fortunate thing is Corey's parents are in their lives a lot. My parents are as well, so they're able to learn a lot, from their grandparents and us, their aunts and uncles, that most of which are on the show, but even Corey's side of the family, so it's a huge family, and we help each other out. We just went on vacation, and we go with Corey. So it's like 75 people. It's literally that many people, and that's what we like. We just stay together and try to help raise each other's kids. And it's funny because sometimes I can make an impact, maybe on one of Jason's kids if he can't get through to them, and then maybe one of my kids, does the same thing with someone else. Yeah, and so I think there's a lot to that. I look back, it wasn't just Phil and Kay in my life. There were other people that, really influenced my life. A boss I had when I was in high school, I worked at a cabinet shop, and it really impacted my life, my youth ministry. And there's other people that helped kind of raise me up and, teach me the right and wrong, the right versus wrong and all that. And so, that's my deal, and I try to just let them live. And they're gonna make mistakes. They're gonna, they're gonna do things that are stupid too. And so I just want them to appreciate things, appreciate people, love each other, love their neighbor, just basic principles, and and they'll be fine.
And that old saying, it takes a village to raise a child.
I love that.
That's exactly how we do it out here. My grandparents are down the driveway. My brother, it's like a compound out here, so. I'm that kind of father where I'm going to teach my kids something, but I'm not the kind of father that's like, I'm the only one that can teach. Now, there's certain things, man, but when they're able to walk around to people that I absolutely trust, otherwise you wouldn't be living here. And with them, it's family. Here, it's family.
Right.
So they're not going to teach them anything that's going to harm them. And everybody's different. That's the beauty about it, man. And they also teach the value of, I have something at my house that they don't have here.
And I love that.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
So they learn that throughout the family dynamic. And because there's love in that family, the money part's that's not an issue.
No.
And every one of his kids, man, are just like that. He's got a little boy named Rowdy, man. I love this little joker. Every time I can get rowdy, yeah.
That's
but
cool.
they're all, so focused. And once I became a parent, I talked to him a lot about that, man. And he's got it across the board in the public eye. And they're surrounded, man. They were popular at school. They're still popular at school. It's just the school is real big now.
That's cool.
That kind of deal.
So, Willie, last question in this part of the interview is before we end it, and then hopefully we'll come back for the after actions report here. The last question that we got for you is in all this, in the last 4 years of just the explosion, the influence, and all that, what is the greatest highlight of that time for you in particular, where you really saw what you're doing and the impact and the power and all that? What is the greatest highlight in the last 4 or 5 years for you?
That's gonna be.
That's gotta be a tough question.
Impossible to answer. There's so many different realms of what we've done.
Is there a story? Is there one thing or a couple, one that pops in your mind that is reminiscent of the never quit attitude, or?
Well, there's a couple of stories. One, well, it's between. So I don't know. I got to play Augusta National. I'm a big golfer, and so I met Ozzie Smith, who played for the Cardinals, and I get this call to come play Augusta, and I showed up, and I thought, this is the coolest thing I've got to do, because that place is so hard to get on and play.
Impossible.
You just can't hardly do it. But then, literally a few months ago at the car race, then I said, this may be the coolest thing ever. We sponsored the car race in Dallas, and which was another cool thing. I've been sweet seeing this logo that I remember Dad and them drawing out when I was, a child, and said, Duck Commander, this is going to be a company name, for our family, and seeing it gigantic on this, infield and sponsoring a NASCAR.
That's huge.
I thought, wow, just think about we ran this out of our house.
You have your own NASCAR races. It's so
we have
huge.
our own NASCAR race. No, but the story is so the musical guest at the race was Leonard Skinner, right? And I don't need, when we have to do so many things at a race, I rarely get to just sit down and do anything, because we're going to impress and all this stuff. And so I said, I want to go hear Leonard Skinner. Oddly enough, I'd never heard him in live. So I go up there and I kind of get on the front row. And, I'm on the corner, and so they see me. Well, they're like, waving. I'm like, oh, how cool is that? They recognize who I am. And then the guy comes down and he goes, hey, Willie, do you want to get up and sing Sweet Home Alabama with them on stage? And I'm like, are you freaking Of course I get up there. So I'm up on stage, I come out, and I'm thinking, listen. Redneck, this is it. Like, this is heaven on earth, is singing Sweet Home Alabama with Leonard Skinner live. And so, here's the thing. And I've sang that song 5,000 times.
5,000.
Corey said the first verse that came out of my mouth was not English. It was an unrecognizable language. I think I was just... I couldn't understand the word you said. I said, I don't even know if I spoke a word. I was just so excited.
You were speaking in tongues.
Like I've got to do some really cool stuff, but that was a pretty good one. But man, there's been so many things that I just look around and going, I cannot believe I'm even here. But even before that Dynasty, I would always have these weird, I would show up at the weirdest places, and my friends used to call me Forrest Gump, because they'd be like, Willie's going to be in the background of something. And,
right.
and you never know where it's going to end up. Like a few months ago, it was at the Trump. I just happened to be in New York. I ran somebody that, we're going to come through it. Next thing you know, I'm standing behind him on the stage, and my phone just starts blowing out, like, is that you behind it? Because it was not planned at all. I was like, yep, it's me. I'm back here. I don't have anything else to do. I'm over here. So,
Well, that goes
it's
to
been
that
crazy,
whole
man. Just all the different.
That's cool.
letting yourself get in those situations.
It's very surreal, very satisfying. I look forward to doing the next cool thing.
Cool.
I mean, it's really, Louisiana duck hunter, and it just
Impact in the world.
allows himself to get in extraordinary situations, man. Being who he is changes the world.
And doesn't back down. That's my favorite part about you, Willie, and your family is that you don't back down from the magnitude of the influence.
Yeah,
and that's the cool part.
Heads of state asking you for advice and to back you up. A head of state asking you to back you up. Because you took what you did, because you took your family that you love so much and let the American people inside to take a look.
To know what goodness and what wholesomeness is and
for
what
that
the
fact,
Lord
because
man.
you did that, because you have done that, and the American people value your opinion so much that they ask you advice like that. How to parent, how to be faithful. I mean, everything.
It's everything.
So who should we vote for to preserve this way of life? I mean, that's pretty solid, bro, for some old coon ass from Louisiana, man. And you know how I'm married, half my family's coon ass now, so.
It's been crazy. I tell you another one. I just thought about that I did. That was pretty cool. We did the USO tour, and so we went with the Christmas tour with General Dempsey, and so we got the top dog here, right? And so when he comes out there and he goes, "All right, guys, when y'all get over, y'all are in charge of planning the show. So it's on y'all. Figure it out." He goes in his Airstreams. We're like, "What are we going to do? Who's going to do what?" And so we're kind of. Well, somebody said that the General was a big singer, and so I had this idea because we'd just done a Christmas album, and I sang the song with Luke Bryan, and so I went in there, I knocked on so we're on C-17, but the General's got his Airstream like strapped down, and I'm knocking on the door. I'm opening out on the stairs. He's like, "Yeah," I said, "General, do you want to sing with me on this Christmas song?" And he was like, "Let me see the CD." And so he sends the guy. He goes, "Yep, General said he'd do it. He'll be ready." He's never heard the song. And so at the end of every show, I'd say, "Well, Luke Bryan's not here, but I found somebody else." The General would come on stage and we'd sing the song together.
No way.
And it was just the coolest thing ever to do that. And so, God's been good. And I've told people this. I said, "Look, we sold 1 million albums, music albums. We've been on the bestseller. I've sold over 1 million books. And I said we've had the most watched reality TV show ever. And I said, by trade, none of us are musicians, actors, or artists. Only in America could you pull that off and never even do any of those things professionally."
I think God bless America.
Oh my God, that's epic.
God bless America.
Well, Willie, I mean, if our listeners don't hear the hope in that and don't hear the desire to say, hey, if you follow your passion, you follow your dream, you follow your purpose, your higher purpose, you follow that example set by your parents, by the people who you love most, the sky's the limit. You can't, anything's possible.
I mean, it's God bless America, right? Not God bless Americans.
No.
It's blessed what this is, and it gives you an opportunity just if you step up. I mean,
step up and never quit.
And love what you're doing. And that's what he does. He loves what he does, man. And it's so impactful.
So, Willie, we just want to say thank you, and we're looking forward to hearing your lessons learned on the After Access Report here on the website. So, God bless you. God bless your family for what you do. We're so appreciative of you coming on. Thank you so much, sir.
No problem. My pleasure.
Marcus, when you hear a guy, you hear a guy like that who's had the influence, who has the influence he has, but when he talks, man, the genuineness, the authenticity, you're with him all the time. That's real, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And we pray at every meal in public. None of that is an act. They don't do like that. I remember we've done a couple of shows with them, man. They're like, no, right. and their staff and that crew they have are phenomenal, man. But the other day we were up north fishing and pulling into Bozeman. The trailer came off. We were with Adam LaRoche. They were driving his big bus.
Yeah,
and the trailer came off, and you think being a celebrity, somebody's going to pull over and help you with a tire? No. And it was Adam LaRoche, Willie Robertson, and me. It was just, hey, get some pictures, and that they were great to see him. We had the best time laughing about that. Like, oh man, you know what? It's just simple America. Love it, man. Love it. And then we took out the awning on the. I probably shouldn't say that on that. I mean, bro, never quit moment. We were having one.
Yeah.
I mean, till the next morning. Of course, I will say honestly, I was in bed with my wife sleeping, so I didn't have to go through the chaos, but they did. And I mean, the story is great because there was a security guard there that was Rambo tactical. I mean, by the number.
I love those.
Oh man, oh yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right?
The 511. Yeah. He had like the Black Hawk tactical vest.
And
with like a stun gun.
Yeah, so the line of Willie kept saying, hey, is the police going to be here? And he's like, in a moment. I'm pretty sure it was in a moment. So our line throughout the entire trip was, in a moment.
In a moment.
In a moment.
And it was
I may have butchered that, but it's something like that. Like, just a moment.
Just another moment.
Oh, my God. 8 hours later.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So going back to it, man, but he loves life. And there's a couple times where a guy showed up at the house and Willie's like, can I help you? He goes, yeah, I was that guy you met on that trip out and you said I could come over and we can talk about faith. And because I'm trying to be a preacher. I just showed up to the house.
Just showed up.
And stayed the night.
No way.
Yeah. I mean, he remembered
cool.
the guy. And that's the thing too, man. Both of them, they're great. And those kids are wonderful too, man. And they're all genuine like that.
Yeah.
And
well, I can see why you love them as much
even
as
if
you do.
I mean, you hear something when I hear negative stuff about it, I'm like, hey, look, man, there's nothing negative about them. You catch somebody, they're in the public eye
24/7.
Right.
On a
and
huge
that's the
level.
one thing I learned about one of my time in Hollywood and dealing with those A-list celebrities, man. They're great. Most of them are great people.
Yeah.
But, man, they still have regular human problems.
Everybody does.
And when you got a camera jammed on you 24/7, someone's going to catch you.
Yep.
There's just no way around it. And a lot of them, man, they don't like to fail in the open like we do. Most people don't.
No.
They don't like to watch how they age, and for especially in Hollywood, you would think in Hollywood with the way women have to.
Right.
It'd be the opposite.
The stress.
We want to watch you. I mean, you're the silver screen, man.
Yeah.
You're the essence of beauty. We want to watch you from when you were young to when you're.
Yeah.
Don't do anything to your face. We've loved you since you started this.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
But it's
not the way it is. It's the materialism. It's the it's the negative insurgency distracting people from being themselves and being good with that.
If I could tell them one thing, I'm like, man, you're beautiful. That's why you're our stars.
Yeah.
We love looking at you the way you are. Please just
be who you are.
Yeah.
We love you for that. Like the Robertsons are.
Right, yeah, exactly, man. They're just who they are. They're great, man.
My favorite part of having Willie on was him telling that story about Phil, his dad, and how meaningful that was. I mean, he clearly believes that moment where, he gave his life to the Lord was the conduit for everything that's happened in that moment. And how he showed respect to that, I mean, that's amazing.
I mean, the part you tell about it, I mean, people, if you lost your way, if you need a path, and we talk about going down, look, nobody likes to jump off the trail more than I do.
That's true. I can attest for that.
I'm an adventurer. But if you read the Bible,
you can call it that.
Yeah, if you read the Bible, man, there's a lot of adventurers in there.
And they're normal men. They're sinners.
Right, and they have great paths.
They got influenced by the right people.
So if you're looking for a guidance book on how to get into some crazy situations and all that, man, it's in there.
It's in there. And it's on this show. And I tell you what, that's why I'm so stoked to be doing this with Marcus and for you to reach out to your friends like Willie Robertson to come on and share their amazing Never Quit stories with us, to give perspective to normalcy as well as the most extreme things that are with normal men, like you always like to say, right? And that's what the show's about. And I just hope the listeners are feeling that. I think we're delivering it. I know we are.
Somebody who started the way they did, and I mean, his father's a great man, by the way, and I mean, he kept that's what a father does, and a husband, he keeps that family together.
Amen.
Right?
Period.
I mean,
You don't quit. You don't quit on your family.
And that's the great part about it. Everybody's there. And then when you retain your friends, man, when you don't turn on them or forget about them, that your true family, your brothers, your crew, man, then they keep you in that perspective. That's the great thing about Wahlberg, man. That's his crew rolls with him. That's his family.
Well, and there's a lot to be said for that. I think a lot of people I think in today's society, we're taught so much to want other things, to see other places, this desires, when really the fulfilling part of life is usually all around you.
Yeah, to do it. We're going to do it with somebody. I mean, the crew I run around with, we reference ourselves when we have to is the Wildcats, which are our junior high, grade school.
I know the Wildcats well.
Yeah, Bearcats are the buddies I got in college.
Yeah.
And then the Frogs.
Yeah.
And when I left the SEAL teams, man, I didn't leave. They're here.
Yeah.
Now they moved here. They come here and visit. So, man, it's kind of one of the guys that I surround myself with. Like I get her, their strength, man, and we thrive together.
Right. And I think that's really the whole component of this show and having Willie on is to help people out there that are struggling, that have maybe isolated themselves, that are by themselves, to say, hey, listen, just look at the world that you've already created for yourself. Find the good people that are in your lives. Surround yourself. Stay true to your beliefs. Stay true to what you know. Yeah. And don't quit on that. And that'll get you going.
Yeah. And the most important thing about the friendship, I can't stress this enough, man, and keeping in contact with them is so we all grew up a certain way and we were stupid boys and did everything and grew to men. Well, I mean, one of my brothers, my crew that I roll around with is brilliant with numbers. He's my financial advisor, controls my money. The other one put the roof on this house. That's why it leaks all the time. The other one found the land. I mean, we have lawyers. We have guys that work at Cisco. We have guys, firefighters. You name it, across the board. We don't have to still be together every single day, man, but we still get together to make sure we know. And it's funny, man, we have a text stream with all of us on it, and it's the one I do not erase.
Yeah.
And I mean, from when the storm was here in the middle of the night, all these texts came in from every one of my boys. You dry, you need us.
We'll be there in a minute.
In a second.
Yeah.
All right. And that's family. Cool. And they have the same thing. You notice
family.
That, look, if you get out of the military and you're feeling bummed out and you're alone, man, if you don't have your boys from the military, you go back further. You go back to your crew. And if you're looking for something to do, see what they're doing. Yeah. And I never can understand, like, I'm trying to do this alone and I got this job. I don't care what your job is, man. Anytime we need anything, we rally the boys.
Yeah.
And we figure it out. And normally we have somebody in that particular field or knows somebody. And with all of us behind it, just the other day, he's doing that cognitive neuroscience. And we were with, there was 4 of us rolling around. And one of them had to go do something. And we're like, because we want to be together all the time, we go do it.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, physical, man, it doesn't
Mental,
matter. Yeah, man. And when we
matter.
all get on it, we tackle it in less than no time, so we can go fishing or do stuff that we did when we were kids. Because that's that
connection.
That forever moment.
Yep, I love it.
I mean, people chase the dream of always having more and everything like that. But the way I did it was, once I got married, my wife and kids, I had my perfect moment, which I was with my son in the backyard. My wife was doing her thing. My daughter's running around. Rigby, my lab, was sitting around, and I was like, whatever I have in the bank right now, whatever I have around me with my house, everything is all I will ever need to be the happiest I'll ever be on this planet.
That's
so
awesome.
all I do is work to sustain that.
Sustain that.
Right. I mean, you don't need any more, man.
No.
Robertsons don't fly around on they don't own jets and yachts and everything like that. The beauty about it is I might have a buddy who has one.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he loves going out on it and loves having his boys with him.
I love it. So that's the lesson of the day. On this show, this TNQ podcast show with Willie Robertson, is to recognize, hey, man, the power exists around the things that you love most, with the people, your family, your faith. So, man, I hope you're hearing the consistency. What I want to do is just say, hey, listen, if you want to listen more to the rest of the shows, please visit tnqpodcast.com or teamneverquit.com/podcast. And you can find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher. Come to the website, learn more about Marcus, learn more about us, learn more about our mission. And our mission is to make sure that we're out there telling great stories to ignite you becoming a legend, because we have faith in you. We want you to develop that never quit mindset. We want you to achieve your dreams, to live with purpose, because listen, we've been so blessed and fortunate in this world to be able to experience what we have, to have this venue, to have this, to be able to get behind these mics, share our friendship, share our love for the world and for what's going on around us. And Marcus, as you and I always do at the end of every show, I just want to say thank you to the Wizard. I want to say thank you to you. I want to say thank you to my family, most especially my beautiful wife, the Admiral, my 2 daughters. I want to thank, especially the glory of God for giving me the opportunity to do this. How about you?
Sure, brother. Thank God for giving me all my abilities. Thank my friends for helping me find them. Thank you for the boss for giving me everything, my kids, and this wonderful place that I call heaven, and having the ability to hang out with you and this is team guy talk, man. We just get to hang out and talk about positive stuff because that's why we can do the things we do, man. We stay positive about it. So thanks for that, man, and thank y'all for listening and all of y'all who make this possible.
All right. God bless. We're out.